Hi, everyone. Last week I said I was going to do kind of like a behind the scenes of me plotting with NaNoWrimo coming up literally this weekend. I did get a little bit of plotting done already, mostly for like character arcs and things like that. But not all of it, and I don't have any of my scenes plotted out. I kind of have an idea. I did a little bit of research yesterday and I figured out the main flow of the plot of what this book is going to be. In case you're wondering, I'm working on book number 5 in the Shadowhurst world. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a whirlwind of a series, but it's gotten some really good response and reader seems to really like it. So I hope you guys have checked it out. And if you have, I hope you liked it. I think it's like the one of the best books I've written so far. And I had a feeling when I finished writing Witch of Shadows, I knew that this was it for a while for me because I was just so entranced in the world. But considering that it's a long dynamic series, there's going to be a lot more happening in this world, and so plotting is essential. I wish I could just kind of be a pantser and just sit down and write, but it's not going to work for this. There's just so many factions and groups and things happening and mysteries and just an overarching mystery, if you will, for the whole book. And so there's a lot of points that need to be taken into consideration. So plotting is absolutely essential. And to make matters worse, this 5th book has 4 POVs. So it's more than I've had before. The last book had 2. It had Billy and River. And in this book, we're going to have Billy, River, Logan, and Savannah. So there's a lot happening. And each one of them plays a crucial part in the entire series and how it's going to unfold, and in each other's lives. So it's important that the plotting is just right, that the chapters read just right for each one, and then that the voices read perfectly for each character. I have a few different templates that I use. A couple of them for the arcs are from 2 really amazing writers who do so much for the community, and they just share all these free resources. And I find that their templates are really good for arcs, so I'll link them down below. I believe both of them have YouTube channels, so I'll link those so you can see. And that's what I use for arcs. But for the actual scene templates and plotting, I kind of created my own. I use a combination of the Save the Cat beat sheet and the 3 acts plot structure because I like parts of each one of those systems for plotting, but I don't like all of them. Not all of them work for me, at least. I'm sure they're absolutely fantastic. They just don't work for the kind of story I like. Mostly because I really like a slow burn. Like I want to work up to the action and like the main event kind of, and as the stakes slowly progress until they really like hit you upside the head. So that's really important to me. It's kind of what I like to write and what I like to read. So I kind of basically deconstructed some of these and made my own templates. If you guys are interested, I'll do like a little walkthrough real quick of what the templates look like. And if you are interested, I could create a PDF download. Just comment below so I can see if anybody actually wants these. And then I'll put it up on, I don't know, my website or something so you guys can grab it for yourself. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to go ahead right now and kind of work through some of the parts of the scenes in the plot and the character arcs that I haven't done yet. So I'll work on that, and we'll do like a little fun little B-roll of me doing that. And then I'll be back and we'll talk about what's next for this plotting adventure because we're just a few days away from NaNoWrimo. Fun! So, like I said, before I get to filling these out, I thought I would show you guys what's kind of inside this little plotting notebook thing. So these are the sheets that I was talking about, and I have them broken down by Act 1, Act 2, Part 1, Act 2, Part 2, and Act 3. And I have these printed out for like every single character, and like color coded for every single one. Just because I have like a ton of washi, because like I said before, stationery obsessed, always have way too much. So I'm going to be filling this out for every single character as much as I can for these guys. And I kind of have little notes for myself on what each one of these means. I mean, at this point, I already know them, but when I was just starting out, it was helpful to have this to kind of remind myself that, like, oh, okay, so theme stated as a secondary character pose a question to the MC, or like something along those lines, what the mirror and the midpoint moment was, like what all is lost really means in this story, etc. And then I have my little cards here. So like, as I said before, these are all also color coded to match, more or less to match whatever I could find, like every single one of these POVs. And my little pencil case with like a ton more stationery in it, because obviously that is necessary for writing, is 10,000 pens and highlighters that you don't know what to do with. But yeah, so I'm going to start filling these out, but I just thought I would show you guys what these look like for me and what it is that I'll be working on today, so you can kind of see them more close up. So I hope that helped. Okay, so I am back. I put together as far as I could today, for what needs to get done for like scenes, and figured some of that out. I did more than I thought I would, which is fantastic considering how many POVs there are. I'm surprised that I could get it done. Hopefully it all works out, because the next part is I actually, so normally like I plan this little guy, and now I'm actually going to be transferring everything to these colored index cards, which I kind of talked about when I did the little flip through. And they're all color coded per character POV. So I'm going to transfer to that. And I'm actually going to go over to the floor, because we live in a small apartment. That's the beauty of living in Toronto, and like the most expensive city in Canada, I think, that you're kind of stuck in these tiny spaces if you want to be close into the city. So we don't have a lot of space. So I use any space I can. Sometimes I use sticky notes and stick them to the TV screen, which my fiance is not too happy about, but whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do with the craft. So today I'll probably be doing this on the floor, because like I said, there's a lot of scenes, a lot of characters, and I want to get an overview. So usually what I do at this point is everything that I've kind of plotted out for each one of the characters, I transfer those to the right color index cards, and I lay them out in the order that they would go. So I'd lay out all of Act 1, all of Act 2, Part 1, Part 2, and then Act 3. And then I step back and I take a look, and I can see essentially like if I have too much of one character and their thought process, or if maybe another character would be good to insert kind of in between. What scene would that be? Or should I take some of the scenes away and replace them with another character? So it's just like a puzzle that you kind of work out. And the other thing that I do when I go through this is I figure out where they are in every single one of the scenes, so that they're not like at somebody's house and then all of a sudden they're like in a park or something, or like working a spell somewhere that doesn't make sense, like because people can only move so fast. I mean, I know it's magic, but there's no teleportation as of yet. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, right after we do this. But I think I'm going to get started on it right now, because I have plotted quite a bit. So I want to see what it looks like laid out all together. And then let's see how far along I can get. So far, so good. So let's keep it going, guys. Here we go. Okay, so that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had a few hiccups and a few small plot holes that I already was able to fish out, which is amazing. But overall, I'm happy with how it's going. I like the pacing. And that's a big one for me, because usually at this stage, I never like the pacing. I think it's like either too slow or too fast, or there's a lot of like moving around and adding scenes and trying to get my characters in more trouble than they're already in. But so far, I think I really like how it's going, because of the 4 different point of views. There's more of a build up in this one, so the setup is like a little bit longer, but I was able to condense it more by taking some scenes away. So that's really cool. I'm really happy about that. And I think that's all I can do for today. My plan now is I still have a couple more days before Nano starts and I have to start writing. So I think what I'm going to do is let it kind of sit with me and rest for a bit and work on something else in the meantime, and then come back to it within like a day, probably, if I can hold off that long. So I'm excited. And take a look at it again with fresh eyes. And I'm going to work it through with a few people, talk it out, and see where I am, and if there's anything that really truly needs to change, or if it's good as a kind of a rough plot to start working from. I would like to start working earlier and start writing earlier. I want to bank some words before Nano, because I didn't account for the birthdays in this month, my own including, but we have quite a few. So there's going to be a few days that I am not going to be writing as much as I would like to, because there's going to be some celebrations, small celebrations, obviously not any people, but even if it's just the two of us, like, I'll be having the wine. So I will not be writing. And if I am, it's going to be possibly disastrous. So I do want to bank some words because I'm going to need them. So I did a lot today. I'm actually really, really happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing how I plot, where I plot on the floor sometimes. And I hope it helped you out, or at least like inspired you or got you excited for Nano, because if you are doing it, it's coming up fast, and I hope you're ready for it. And I hope this kind of gave you an inspiration to at least plot a little bit if you're not a plotter, or some ideas for how you can do your plot. So yeah, and let me know again about the sheet if you're interested. And if you want a PDF, I can throw that up somewhere. So yeah, comment below. And thank you for hanging out with me today while I did all this. It was a busy day, so thanks for taking the time to spare it and watch me do it. And thanks for coming back. So I will talk to you guys next week. I think we're going to do a planner lineup kind of video, because I love me some planners. So we're going to talk about the ones I use, and I hope you guys are into that, because I sure am. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next week, and stay magical, everyone. Bye.